All right, I'm back. We had a fun family outing last night. Well, feelings were a little hurt. You guys had a Meadowlark outing at the baseball game. I'm not a member of Meadowlark, but I was invited to the baseball game because I'm down here helping out during this tough time. It's a great time. Had a lot of fun. Then I go and look at the Instagram later. It's a big group picture. You know who wasn't there for the group picture? Me. I just waited till I left to do the group picture. That was the plan.
You left before the game ended, though.
Yeah.
We waited for all 9 innings.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't get there when it started, though. I was there for the first pitch.
Same note, too, Dominique. Same note, too.
I didn't put up a picture of you guys?
That's what happened to me.
They sent Billy the Marlin, and I think they wanted like a group picture with Billy the Marlin, the mascot, and there was like 8 people there at the time. So they're like, okay.
I got a picture with Billy the Marlin, as did Lucy and all the other children that were in the suite.
Yeah.
Lots of kids there. I had a great time.
Yeah, Lucy was on the floor in the corner, being a kid with the kids, stacking things, organizing.
She was
races.
timing them at some point.
She had a little baby combine happening over on the side. She was letting them loose and clocking them, and then my son came over there and wanted to tackle people, which I was like, all right, let's go get some ice cream for everybody.
I was like, let's be gentle. He's like, I'm never gentle. And I was like, all right, well, right now, we're going to do that.
I know one speed. Yeah. You slow down, that's how you get hurt.
Is it possible your son was listening yesterday when you were criticizing his dapping ability, so he said, you know what, I'm going to be extra, like, rugged today?
I mean, the dap wasn't about being rugged, but I told him that I criticized his dapping ability because at the game, there were some important daps that he needed to deliver because they heard about him. He delivered some great daps, and I got to say, thank you, Marlins, for having us. Billy the Marlin. Bad dapper. Bad dapper.
It's hard with those hands.
Hey,
yeah.
Hey, excuse. Tony got here this morning, like a minute or two behind schedule, try to blame it on the train. Don't blame it on the train, Tony.
It's on me. That's personal responsibility. I should have gotten there 10 minutes early.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't want train blames. And don't blame the fin for the dap. You got a fin, then you figure out a dap with the fin.
You are big like Tom Coughlin on arriving to meetings 15 minutes early, right?
I mean, I talked yesterday about being kind of sports brainwashed in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that I have not been able to shake is I get everywhere super early. It's awkward and weird. I wish I didn't, but I can't shake the anxiety that comes with, like, when I know I have to do something. I don't know if anyone else is familiar with this, but if I have to be somewhere in an hour, the whole hour leading up to that time is stressful. Like, I'd rather just get there and be 30 minutes early and just chill because I can't get anything done in that time.
I feel you.
I have a question for you. So you went outside and got ice cream for your children at one point in time, and then we saw Tony eating that ice cream. Was that intended for Tony? Because we thought that, like, you handed to him, intended to give to your kids, and he just opened it up and started eating it. Because it was only kids and Tony eating the Dippin' Dots that you went outside and purchased yourself.
No, Tony took it from my youngest.
Okay.
Took it right out of her hands. I have 3 kids. The youngest is very kind, and Tony just took it from her.
Snooze, you lose.
And started eating it. It was unfortunate. Now, what happened was my son, who is the most outgoing of my children, who went out and bought himself, he has like an Apple Watch with some money on it. He went out and bought himself and his sister ice cream, and then he brought it back into the place. And I was like, into the suite that you guys had. And I was like, you can't do that. So then I went back and bought a bunch of ice cream for everyone else, and then Tony took like 3 or 4 of them because that's what Tony do.
Cookie dough.
You said that yesterday when we were talking about the recycled pregame speeches. As Tony is known to do, he believes he can do everything as well or better than professionals. One of the things you told me is that you think you could deliver a great pregame speech, Tony.
That's right.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Let's go.
Well, what I'm realizing here is that everybody wants to talk and think shit's sweet. Shit is not sweet here, okay? We got to work for this every single day. You know who's out there?
Who?
Other people making podcasts.
A lot of them.
I'm not going to mention what their names are, but they're in the top 5. And you know who they're coming for? Us. You know what they want to do? Topple us. And that's why we got to be here every day to work hard. That's why I'm standing up right now. That's why I got Billy standing up right now. On my feet. You know why? I'm at attention. I'm ready. Because you know what? People are trying to come for what we got. I'm not going to let that happen. So everybody smiling around here? No smiles. We're here to work today. Thank you, Billy.
I'm ready to run.
We're here to work today. All right? Mike, I don't want to see you smiling today, dude. I want to see you locked in.
Game face.
Game face. Locked in. New haircut, new you. Let's go. Stu's here, ready to go. Makeup on.
No smiling.
Looking good. Just smoked the heater.
Yep.
Getting ready to smoke the ops. Ladies in the front, sharing a blanket. I like it. Sharing is caring. Teamwork makes the dream work. Amin, wherever he may be, he's ready. I already talked to him.
He's ready.
He's already ready.
He's
Born
ready for his other show.
I gotta say, the blanket saved you. I wasn't in, but once you called out the sharing blanket, I was like, this is a family.
Sharing is caring.
We do care about each other.
Studio B, the people in the back, they're ready to go. Born ready. Again, Warriors. All put them on screen right now. Warriors ready to go. Look at them. Ready to ride and die.
There they are.
Right there.
Let's
Look
go.
at us. Look at us.
Don't die though.
Look at.
Robert's not listening.
Robert's not listening. Where's him? I can't see him. Oh yeah, he's kind of. He's talking. Yeah, exactly. Robert, let's go. Let's go. The whole team ready to go.
He just smiled.
Yeah.
There's no smiling.
And real teams
isn't the
put
smiley
toilet
show.
seats down after they use. I don't know. who
We'll
needs
talk
to
about
hear
that later, though.
I-
don't
No
don't
one needs
distract
to hear
us.
that, but
I like.
Fuentes, Taylor, ready to ride. Reed, ready to ride.
I'm certainly not going to argue that we live in anything other than the patriarchy. However, the toilet seat, it should be left up. Like
No,
it,
put it down.
I do.
Left up.
I do put it down.
Wait, but
because-
why are you saying it should be left up?
Because I accept responsibility for putting the toilet seat down, because that's what we all of us accepted. But in actuality, like, the reasonable thing to do is to leave it up.
no.
So we can fall in?
They fall in.
Put it down.
I have literally
you have to
put
put it down. I
You
mean,
have to put it down. I'm saying that it's easier put it down, put it back up, leave it up, than it is put it down and lift it up all the time.
Wait, do you guys not look at the toilet before you sit on
Great
said
questions,
toilet?
Stu.
You learn the hard way. And
By
now
falling
you,
in.
Yeah, and then you always look.
The reason why I say that is because, again, I have children. I have one son, and it's if you leave the toilet seat up and my daughters check, they're good. If you leave it down and my son doesn't check, then we got a dirty seat. So that's all I'm saying is what you're asking is you're trusting every man to do the right thing all the time. In actuality,
Yes, take some accountability for yourself.
I'm with you. I do.
The standard is the
Why don't-
standard.
why don't you guys
The
just
toilet
look?
seat should
Like, when you walk
just
in-
remain
I haven't.
down.
Okay,
Weird.
Toilet
Jess,
seats in
don't jump on
stasis
me.
are
His
down.
family's
Are you walking in
splintering.
with your eyes closed? Like, I don't get it.
You're just
Jess,
assuming
You
every
can
seat is
definitely tell
down.
when the seat is up and when the
Yes,
seat is down.
I haven't left this seat up since '98. I'm just saying, practically, the reasonable thing to do is
So
because
you're saying we were asking for it. Okay.
Has an inspirational speech ever
Ever
caused
gone-
a
yeah.
schism?
Yeah.
great job.
Your
way
fault,
to,
Mike.
Way to motivate a fight.
Iron sharpens iron.
I
here.
lost interest in the
brought up-
You're right,
patriarchy when
Tony.
I found out it wasn't about horses.
Barbie, great picture. Did you guys like Barbie?
I loved it.
I did.
Haven't seen it yet.
Not surprising.
Patriarchy, you trying to perpetuate it, or I mean?
No, I just went to see Oppenheimer and then I haven't been back.
Oh, of course.
Oppenheim.
Lou,
Oppie.
baby.
Will you ever see it?
What, Barbie?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I saw it on opening night with my daughter.
Good
It was
answer.
fun. I still haven't seen Oppenheimer. I do want to see it, but I haven't seen it yet.
A little long, but really good.
Sound
if
of
you
Freedom
have
guy?
to pick one, you're picking Barbie, right?
Haven't seen that one either, Mike.
Less than 2
so-
hours long.
Sorry. Bishop to Rook 9.
I do feel
The
like
question is Mike going to watch Sound of Freedom?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Nah.
Now I see where we are.
I'm like, it's fine.
It's a
I heard that
movie.
was great.
Yeah.
yeah,
heard it
no,
was
I've
good.
heard it's great too.
Yes.
I've heard it. People tell me it's
Mike's
great all the
gonna watch
time.
it. Mike's going to watch it when it hits streaming services.
Yeah.
He can't be seen watching Sound of Freedom in person.
No, can't.
this. I mean, I feel like you're better off seeing it in person.
I'm not gonna
because
see it in person. I go
I'm
to the
just saying,
movies
if
for
you're-
like monumental things,
monumental thing. I mean,
like super important, good filmmakers.
The
Not Jim Caviezel's crazy ass.
yeah, I can't go see that. Even if I was interested in it,
I'd rather see Tom Cruise's crazy ass.
Yep.
Saw that one. That was great.
It was great.
It was.
And we can't say that we can't rank it yet in
'Cause we
the
still need part
Pantheon
two.
because
Yeah.
they're telling one story. So it's unfair to say this is better than Dead Reckoning Part 1 because it's just Part 1 of Dead Reckoning.
Part 1 of 4, right?
I hope so.
Yes.
Spider-Man's been the best movie this year so far.
The multiverse thing. Yeah, I'm done with multiverse.
I like the scene in The Flash when the
Done with
babies fall out of the
Spider-Man.
window. And then Barbie behind
Spidey.
that.
Yeah.
I feel you on the tired of multiverses, but that's a pretty good story. You saw it, I assume.
No, I haven't
You
seen
haven't
it
seen
yet.
it? You
No.
can't judge it. You haven't seen it.
I'm getting to it.
I mean, there's so much judgment.
It's now
in
available
this.
on digital, which means
right
now it's on my
behind Sound of
Plex. Now it's on my Plex.
I was talking about this yesterday, how the polarization that we all experience means that certain things that you used to believe in or used to have skepticism about, you can no longer have skepticism. I find myself like a fan of the FBI. It's a real weird place to be in for a black man. It's really uncomfortable where you're like, hey, trust everything. Coming from me, it's real hard. Like,
Trust the authorities. Don't figure this out.
I hate that. I hate that I find myself in the place where I'm like, hey, you know those people over there that are in charge? Why don't we believe them?
I will watch Sound of Freedom, I guess, if there's.
Why?
If I'm
You don't have to say that.
scrolling. No, it's just. It's become like people identify with it. It's
You'll watch it when it gets to you. You're not going out of your way to watch it.
well, it's just like I guess I identified with Barbenheimer, so I'm talking out of both sides of my political leanings.
I watched Blindside, so that's kind of like Sound of Freedom. Right? Same thing. It's the same formula.
Probably
Close,
similar audiences.
Yeah. Targeting.
Ate up both.
Yeah. Targeting. It's funny now that like Michael Orr, and I guess we'll get to this again later in the show. I wasn't happy with how we discussed it yesterday. I got to be honest. I think we won a lot of segments yesterday. Michael Orr's segment was an L. We got to come back on that. But I did rewatch some clips from the movie, and I've never seen the movie before because I was on the team with Michael, and he like openly was like, yeah, this movie sucks. And I was like, all right, cool.
That should have been our first hint, right?
I was like, I don't want to see it. He didn't really love the book. He didn't really appreciate the movie. And I was like, yeah, I'm good on that. But I watched some clips last night, and we, as a country, really loved that movie. And now everyone's turning on it. Like, y'all assholes was eating it up back then. Like, yeah, save that big black man, white lady, save him.
Made me feel good.
Green Book. Messy? Messy! I'm in, baby. I was at the baseball game. I enjoyed the baseball game. I don't mean to disparage the baseball game at all. I enjoyed the Marlins. Yeah, thank you. It was fun. They lost, but it was a close game. It was enjoyable. However, I did a lot of peeking over my man Mike Ryan's shoulder. A lot of peeking over his shoulder because you know what he had set up? He had a little Apple TV device set up there watching Messi. Those pink jerseys, Busquets, Alba. There you go. Analysis complete. That's all I got for you, baby.
Soccer's fake, right?
Come on, Billy.
I'm just asking. Like, this guy comes in, he scores 9 goals in like 6 games. He's leading the team in goals. They have more wins than when he was on the team in like 22 games. Like,
He's making it look too easy.
that goal that he
Yeah.
scored, he hit from like the other side of the field practically. It looked like it was just like a bowling ball just kind of rolling and bouncing at the end. It didn't seem that hard to stop.
I am enjoying watching Mike's face.
No, it's fun. Like, I'm not saying it's not fun. It's fun. It's good for, you know, the city, the team, the league, whatever.
Fort
But
Lauderdale,
That's
yeah.
a whole other thing.
So should we hold on before you get to that? should we start calling it sports entertainment now? Like
I
put
think that's fair.
put it in the wrestling category. Stop pretending like it's real sports. Let's go sports entertainment.
There's nothing wrong with that label.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it.
I mean, WWE's worth billions of dollars. What's the MLS would love that, right? I don't understand. One, the made-up cup, right, where they're actively like postponing actual games in the league for this cup that didn't exist before.
Real games.
Real games, have been-
Meaningful games.
Well,
yes.
I don't know. I don't know what's a meaningful game.
True.
It's sports entertainment. It's just really
blurred,
the
yeah.
meaning is just to entertain us, right? So they're moving actual league games, and every game he scores. How's it possible? And they tell us he's 36. He can't play on certain turfs and this and that, and seems to be doing just fine.
I really appreciate how they gave us that short like injury storyline. They tested the injury storyline, and then they were like, "Nah, we can't do that." They put him back out there.
Scrap it.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing. Why is the guy playing 90 minutes into a game when they're up 4-1? If he has this injury, it seems like not a great idea to put him out there. The guy's your entire team. He's your entire league. He's Apple. He's MLS. He's everything for this league. Why do you have him out there in a game that the other team's not going to come back? And it seems risky.
Mike?
No rebuttal. Excellent points. All of it. To it being rigged and
I
all
didn't
of
say
it.
rigged. I said it seems fake.
Well, it's not rigged. Like, the guy is clearly playing in a league that he doesn't belong in, right? The league's
again,
not good enough.
I appreciate. Look, I guess Apple's marketing strategy is working, and it's a great move for the league for you guys to realize that Messi is good at soccer. He does this everywhere.
I have MLS Plus package, whatever it is. Yeah. I got it for free with T-Mobile.
Yeah, with
but I
T-Mobile,
have it.
okay.
Yeah. I still have it.
He's only got 9 goals. I mean,
How many games?
6.
Mike, so you're saying that he does this all the
that's
time?
not-
9 goals,
Should
6
have more.
games?
I'm saying that's like a little above his normal output. I mean, keep in mind he was sharing the ball with guys like Mbappe and Neymar in his last plays. Other people were eating too, but it's also not exactly accurate when people say they just plugged Messi into the worst team in the league and they got better. Yeah, he got plugged into the team, but so did Busquets. So did Alba. Alba scored yesterday. Busquets has been dynamite.
New manager.
For brand new manager, so a lot has changed, and we're a game removed from them having to go to pens and conceding 4 goals. So he's not running through this league like a hot knife through butter. Yeah, individually he's been stellar, but he's not doing anything un-Messi-like. This isn't like, oh, this guy was washed at the tail end of his career. The guy scored a brace in the World Cup final against France 6 months ago. I think he can score a goal against Philadelphia Union.
All right. The ultimate test for whether this is real or fake is, can we predict the storylines? So, like, I think we need to see if we can predict what goes on next. I think it has to be something physical. Like, I think they lean into the Messi injury. At some point, he's got to miss a couple games, and we have to see how the team does without him. Like, that's the next move.
They'll lose.
Yeah, and then we
They-
build it up for the big comeback
Well-
for the first knockout game.
So I have a question. Well, the next game's a championship, right? In this tournament?
Yeah,
Then back to the regular season.
First ever
We
Leagues
don't-
Cup.
we don't
well,
care
this is
about
all
I
like
think, right?
Well, so
This-
there's a
it's all
storyline.
regular season.
Sorry.
How does a storyline go in this? Does he win the championship in his first time, or does he miss some of it and then they lose, and then there's like vengeance for next year,
No,
and then you
there-
have that
he
storyline for the
does-
next
I like
year's
it.
cup?
Like it.
This is the first year of the cup,
Yeah.
right?
This
So
is
if
the
you-
first year of this cup.
Yeah.
However, he doesn't have to wait that long for his second opportunity
Oh, boy.
at
At a
hardware
cup.
because the oldest trophy in professional U.S. soccer
I'm like 5
is,
years old.
is no the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. It's a
That's tennis.
they're
What? Or football. I mean, real football.
Kansas City.
they're Inter Miami made it to the semifinals without Messi. They're playing FC Cincinnati. I believe that fixture is next week. And so if they make it to the final, there's actually talk that if they host the final, that final gets moved to Hard Rock Stadium down here. So he actually has
Little home cooking.
yeah, and through the victory last night, against Philadelphia, they punched their ticket to next year's CONCACAF Champions League because the top 3 in the Leagues Cup automatically qualify. So, like all major soccer leagues across the planet, there are about 3 to 4 competitions going on simultaneously throughout the season, and they're all regular season.
I guess the Hard Rock would be a neutral field, right?
Yeah, that's not a home field. No home cooking there.
Double road game, yeah.
Double
Different
road.
county.
I love when you get to punch a ticket. Nothing like punching
Oh,
a
it's the
sports
best.
ticket.
Yeah, it was my hope that if this guy came into town and performed at a high level, we'd stop talking about it the way that we had.
We're doing
been.
it. We're talking soccer right now.
Our
Would
life.
we be talking
No,
about
Mike,
the
right.
MLS
Cup.
Cup?
I think
Leagues Cup?
what this move has done.
Mid-season tournament.
What I love most about this move, outside of being a season ticket holder, a day one supporter of the franchise, being super happy for my hometown, not close to Boca Raton, but the general region of it, and for the United States to have Messi in prime time and realize, hey, this is pretty cool and pretty good. What I find coolest about it as someone that's watched Messi basically my entire soccer-loving life is he's having the most fun I've ever seen him have. And it could be a combination of things. It could be post winning the World Cup and that pressure's off his shoulders, but we did have a sample of him in Paris after he won the World Cup, and he was visibly not the same guy. He's having fun. He's cheesing it up. it's done the impossible. The move to Miami has made Lionel Messi charismatic.
I saw him try to stand up for one of his teammates last night, and I was impressed. I appreciate it, but I also was thinking, hey, guys, what are the rest of you doing? Like, this is the guy who scores the goals. You guys do the dirty work.
But he's also
You guys
team captain.
fight.
He's also team captain.
Yeah.
It's incumbent upon the team captain to mix it up like that.
Yeah, but to Billy's point, you don't want him in a game. He's so important to the team and the league that when you're up 4-1, you should probably take him out. And to Dominique's point, you don't want that guy being your enforcer.
It's actually
Tim
really
Cook
good.
was making calls last night.
There's a reason Wade had Haslam, Jordan had, Oakley.
Well, he's
Rodman,
got Busquets. He's
right.
got other people there to be enforcers, and some people have tried testing him. And I imagine if they were playing Monterrey probably doesn't have the message from the league, which is, hey, protect like the moneymaker, keep him fit. I'm not saying let him run roughshod. However, it was a little curious, and this thing always surrounds Messi, be it it's usually stemming from Ronaldo fans, but the conspiracy theorists said it was all predetermined, and they just wanted Messi to win the cup because the host country said as much.
Right.
I have never seen Philadelphia play that poorly. Yeah. And it's not just because they run into Lionel Messi. They gave Messi so much space early on. That is the best defensive team in MLS as a reigning Eastern Conference champion. And they got blitzed from the start. You saw in the second half them kind of settle in, and you saw what the game plan was, but they kind of got starry-eyed. Yeah. They kind of got starry-eyed early on. I actually thought Philadelphia had a decent chance of winning that game. It should be noted that they were missing Carranza, who's a former Inter Miami player, who's a DP for them and a tremendous player. He had a hamstring pull. But they've got really good players in Philadelphia. And if that was your first time watching Philadelphia Union, you think that the league is a joke.
Part of the reason why we end up in a bad place talking about this sport in a way that annoys Mike Ryan and probably annoys other MLS fans is because I don't know shit. So you said a bunch of names and a bunch of things, and I would like to respond with expert analysis back in your direction. I don't got that. So you know what? It's fake.
Yeah, but I don't know shit about a bunch of the sports that we're talking about. Like, I try my best. You know how many college basketball teams there are? You know how many I closely follow? Like, I know the ACC, and when other people speak with authority, I tend to listen. Like, when Billy has opinions, when Chris has opinions on baseball, I'm not going to pretend like I have conviction on these things. I'll fake it and set other people up. I'm trying to, as I grow older, I'm trying to take the piss less. You know, people like these things. People are informed on these things, and I understand that we have to speak largely for a group of audience that doesn't care. But look, Chelsea-Liverpool was the most streamed soccer match in the history of soccer in this country. They got almost 1 million streams on Peacock. As media is evolving, as MLS itself is evolving, as we gear up towards this nation hosting a World Cup in 2026, you have a right to be bullish. And I think as a nation, we should probably stop being so sarcastic when we talk about it.
I think that I've decided that I'm going to give myself some sports homework. 1, get smart on soccer. 2, watch a baseball game. It's 1.
Lucky for you, there's a World Cup final in less than a week, Sunday morning. Got to get up a little early. I think the game starts at 5, maybe 6. Australia lost this morning. Very sad for the Matildas.
They did?
They did, 3-1. It was such a heartbreaker. Sam Kerr had one of the most gorgeous shots I've ever seen to tie up the match. But
Plus 260 on that.
Came back, scored 2 more goals. Sam Kerr missed a couple opportunities. And now England will be playing Spain, which is a really interesting matchup because of everything going on with Spain and their federation. So you should all tune in if you want to, watch some high-level soccer. It's going to be a great match.
What's going on with Spain, their federation?
Well,
I know they hate the manager, right?
Everyone hates the coach, Jorge Vilda, because he apparently is not shown a lot of professionalism. There's a lot of issues that the players have with the way that they've been treated. So a number of players wrote a letter to the Spanish Federation ahead of the World Cup and said to not call them up to the World Cup team. They didn't want to play on the national team. So a couple players did end up playing on the team, but a lot stayed at home. So some of Spain's best, most talented players are not even on the roster, and they still made it to the final, which is crazy. And they are still not happy with the way that things have been handled by the federation. So it's a very interesting kind of tense vibe within that team right now. And there's been a lot of clips of star players not wanting to shake hands, not wanting to celebrate with the coach.
Now that Australia's out, we got to root for Spain to win just so we can see how awkward it gets in the celebration. Like the biggest achievement in all of professional sports, winning the World Cup, but we hate the guy who led us there. That sounds fun.
You know, the NL has a DH now?
More sports homework. I need to watch Shohei Ohtani. Like, I got to do it. I promise I'm going to do it. All right. So first of all, I feel like we need to name the portion of the show. Like at the end of every segment, there's like a spot where you can like get one good line in or one good word. And then we need a name for that because I feel like maximizing that is important. You know, like they say movies, people only love the movies that end well. Like the whole movie can be great, it has a bad ending, it's a terrible movie. I feel the same way about a segment. If we can get it with a perfect joke in that, I don't know, that alley at the end
You
of
want
the
to
show.
stick the landing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So we're calling that the landing. Tony, you tried. I liked it. I think you did. But you know what? I came in over the top and messed up your landing.
You're good. I thought that you needed a second, so I was gonna give you that second. I gave it, and then you said something in the middle, so I got in between.
Yeah, no. That's on me. That's on me. I'll take
You're
that
good.
one. That's my
You're good.
responsibility. We'll work on it. We'll get better.
I got it on my spot. Personal,
Yeah, I appreciate it. We have Charlotte here via Zoom. What up?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good. Also, Amin has joined us in studio.
3 women on at the same time. What women's topic are we going to talk about now? Because we have 3 women on at the same time.
We did. We had 3 black people yesterday. We didn't do no
we
black
didn't.
topics. Yeah, we had 3. We had 3.
And this place is still open?
My man Tony gave us a pregame speech. And so I was wondering, you've been around sports your whole life, Amin. Have you ever given a pregame speech?
One time, and it was terrible. And I wish I remember the particulars. It was something about, like, they're coming for our way of life or something like that. Like, it was.
Who are you speaking to? Who are you speaking
I'm
to?
speaking to, like, the young kids on our team. This is like a preseason. I might have even been like a scrimmage now that I think about it. But it It was something on like they're coming for your way of life, like you know.
You want to make it rain in the club? No,
But
they're coming for your way of life.
You know what the key is to a good pregame speech is what I realized afterward is, and Tony, you made this mistake. You try to launch right into like, you got to tell them a story, man.
You got to set it up.
You got to set it up with a story.
And there are certain things you have to say twice. Like I listened to Michael Irvin's pregame speech that he did here that he recreated.
Right.
I guess he did it before an FSU game or at halftime of an FSU game. He says everything twice. For the good. For the good.
Nice. But very preacherly.
But that's when you reach the crescendo, right? Like before you get there, you got to be like, I was on my way here and I stopped off at a corner store. And I saw this old man. He was bent over, right? And there's got to be a whole story behind it about how the old man, even though he couldn't stand up straight, he was still sweeping in front of his store because he had pride. Pride. That's what I know every single one of you in this room has, pride. And even when your back's hurting, even when that, like you build up and then you start doing the double talk and the raising of the thing.
Charlotte, what does a James Harden pregame speech look like? I feel like he's going to use the coming for our way of life. He's very big in his way of life.
Well, I first have a question for Amin. Amin, are you talking about the young kids on the Suns, or is this like a youth basketball situation?
This is in my professional life.
No, let's go youth kids. They're coming for our Capri Suns. We won't stand for it.
I love Capri Suns.
Who doesn't? Who among us?
I think some people don't like them.
No, who are they?
I don't know.
We should call them out right now.
I don't like Capri Sun.
All right, get her up on the wall. That's right.
Wall.
Coming up for our way of
You're
life.
gonna kick me out of the studio, but now you're gonna shoot me?
Well, look, I didn't say
Whoa,
words.
nobody said that.
Yeah, nobody said anything about an SU.
Anyway, well, I was trying to throw it to Charlotte so we could go with this James Harden topic. Then you heathens took it back. So it's Charlotte.
It was Charlotte's fault.
Yeah.
She threw it
I
back
derailed it on purpose so that I
Instantly.
could think about what James Harden's pregame speech. James Harden, he would say Daryl Morey is a liar 5 times and then stop talking.
Well, I mean, he did do that. Like Daryl
But like
Morey.
that's what you do in the locker room.
Hey guys, let's get riled up. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I don't want to be a part of this anymore.
Let me say it again. I mean, we have had lots of pregame speeches that is us versus them. Like, pregame speech is always us versus them. You have to decide who the them is in the conversation.
It's the world.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been on teams where the pregame speech was us against upstairs.
Yes.
And during training camp,
They're trying
in
to trade
particular,
us, yep.
it's like, look, it's us versus them. They're looking for a reason to trade you. They're looking for a reason to cut you. They don't care about you. When there are trade talks out there about players, that is always the center of the pregame speech. And the coach, at that point, the coach who had been hanging out with the GM all offseason is now like, I don't know nothing about that. I'm with you guys. I'm down here in the trenches with you guys.
That's always my favorite when we're definitely saying the people upstairs are they're evil. They want to break everything up. They don't believe in you. Da da da. We go and we're we're not gonna give them an excuse. We'll go out there. We're gonna win, and then people are gonna be like, why'd y'all break it up?
I feel like the Harden saga, as much as Harden's a celebrity, he's not the player that he once was. Whenever I think of the 76ers and I think about James Harden or Daryl Morey, I think about Joel Embiid. So, Charlotte, what am I to take away from any of this and how Joel Embiid feels about any of this and how any of this is impacting his future with the team?
Well, I mean, it's obviously a total mess. Like James Harden there's something going on. I want to know what Daryl Morey lied about, because if it's that he said, if you take a pay cut this year, then we'll give you a little something on when it's time, and that's not allowed. So then he'd be in a ton of trouble. But if he said something like, I promise I'll trade you if you opt into your contract. And I think it all depends on what the actual lie was, if there was a lie. And Joel Embiid, meanwhile, is just standing there very tall, being like, can we...
Are you at a press conference? What's going on here?
Yeah, I'm actually in between them.
Yeah. Trying to keep up, like at a UFC fight, the way in, they got
keep
like
apart?
Dana White.
Yeah. That's what Charlotte is right now.
Was it the lie, didn't they ask Harden to opt in and we'll trade you?
I don't know what the lie is. I don't know if anyone knows what the lie is, because there's a couple of things, right? It could be, hey, take this smaller deal and then we'll take care of you next summer. It could be, hey, if you opt in, it'll make it easier for us to trade you.
Right.
There's a couple of things there that could have been the things. But to me, it's irrelevant because what you're talking about, Dom, is the big thing, which is regardless of whether he lied to him there, he didn't lie to him, he kind of insinuated, whatever it is, the reality is this is Morey's guy. Yeah. This is his guy, right? And his guy has turned on him. And this is the guy that he went out and traded picks. And obviously Ben Simmons didn't want to be there or whatever. So
this is a guy he's paid $225 million to.
But specifically in Philadelphia, Stugotz.
Right.
This is your mess.
Yeah.
There's one guy on this roster who preceded Daryl Morey. One. Joel Embiid, the good one, right? Everyone else here is here because of Daryl Morey. So regardless of whether Harden is mistaken or Harden is 100% on point, if you're Joel Embiid, you'll be like, hey, dude, you made this mess. I thought you were going to fix it. There's a point that happened, and I don't know what we're pointing at, but we're all looking at each other.
Well, I think Dominique was pointing at Charlotte.
I was pointing at Charlotte. Right. My bad.
See, Dom, I can't see that. When you point, I see a sideways finger come into the camera. I don't see it pointing at my screen.
Well, when there's an awkward pause like that, you could say Charlotte.
I could.
Yeah, you could.
We're just points.
I'm having a rough start. I'm having a rough start.
No, you're okay.
We're getting better.
Hang in there, man.
We're getting better.
I don't. Hey, one thing I don't do is patronization. I had a rough start.
Dominic,
let's be honest with ourselves. Rough start.
Let's
get
focus.
better.
Hold on. On my way here, I walked past this corner store, and there was an old man. And his back was hurting, right? But he kept,
I mean, hold on. You think shit is sweet, huh? That's what you think.
That's what I'm talking
You
about.
think that Dan's gonna let you do this again with
I
that?
hate talk.
Hell no.
Yeah, Dan will never let me come
Hell
down here
no.
and work for free again after that. Thanks, Dan.
He kept dropping the broom, right?
I want to hear the rest of this, please.
But, even though he was doddering and all, he kept reaching down and getting the broom because you know what? We're not defined by our mistakes, Dominique. And now I'm turning into Acho somehow. We're not defined by our mistakes. We're defined by how we react to those mistakes.
Speaking of mistakes, I think just about everything they've done in Philadelphia has been a mistake. And the sad part about this whole situation to me, Charlotte, is that I don't see a way out. What is the way out?
I don't think there is one. I feel like my favorite thing that people say in pregame speeches is we're gonna burn the boats. I always thought that was hilarious because what boat? Did you row here? The whole analogy is just insane to me. And I feel like Daryl Morey and James Harden are burning the boats and for the rest of the team without the rest of the team's consent, and then the team is stranded on. Also, in the boat situation, are we on an island? Did we take a bridge and burn the bridge so we only have boat? What's going on?
We came to the new world, and then we burned the boats, and then we brought smallpox with us. And
then we ruined absolutely everything.
Yeah. Your speeches are horrible.
I feel like they're both. I feel like Harden and Morey are both too stubborn for there to be any clean way out of this. I feel like the Sixers are going to implode before anybody comes. These guys, it's like a battle of the egos at this point. They're both well, it's a game of chicken. I don't know.
Charlotte gets 5 fleck bucks for mentioning rowing the boats.
Nice. Good job, Charlotte. That means you can smoke weed all you want this week.
Is that how that works?
I think it was
I do regardless.
I think that was how you got out of drug test.
Wow. Okay. Now you sold me again on PJ Fleck. Hold on now.
Hold on. I believe him. Am I speaking out of turn? I think I read the article. It suggested that Mr. Fleck gives you Fleck bucks for acting, right?
I mean, keep up.
Yeah, and for going to do community service and stuff, and the people who high on Fleck bucks could use them to buy themselves out of drug tests and other things.
Really smart, man. Hold on, man. You hold the carrot here and you say just do this stuff here that no one likes to do, and they go up and end up doing it, and some might even end up liking doing it, but they're racking up PJ Fleck bucks. But can you then sell Fleck bucks to other teammates?
Yeah, I think so. I think
one Fleck buck is 0.0003 Dogecoin.
There's got to be a black market to Fleck bucks or a white market. I don't know.
Just a market.
I mean, the original market. We're talking about once you sell it amongst your teammates. The 76ers. We're done talking about 76ers. They're going to be sad. They need to trade Joel Embiid and move on and start our way over.
To Miami. They need to trade to Miami.
Right. Only Miami.
Yeah.
Yes.
For
nothing.
This is what you do. You call Dame and say, hey, Dame, I know you wanted to play with Bam, but what if I told you I could turn Bam into Joel Embiid? Hold on. Jimmy Butler, Damian Lillard, and Joel Embiid? Come on, man. Who says no?
3-team deal, and no one's upset because an all-star heads somewhere. Miami doesn't just do the Tyler Hero thing. Third eye.
And fix everything.
There's
Third
also
eye.
the possibility, like we're assuming that James Harden means the things that he says. I don't know that James Harden cares. I think he just wants out of town. I think he probably loves Daryl Morey. He just wants to call him an asshole so he can get traded.
Watch Oddball every day on YouTube.
Every day.
DKN also.
Don't miss it.
Hell of a landing.
Yeah.
Stuck it.
So one of the things with the Harden thing, and I'm curious to know your thoughts, Amin, is it seems like the mainstream media that has these partnerships with the NBA is finally circling back to James Harden's deal last year. And like you guys mentioned, you don't know exactly why he's calling him a liar. He could just be trying to start. James Harden himself might not be knowing, but I do believe him a little bit more because he said, allow me to repeat that.
Yeah.
So, and that's how you know. Let me say it again. That's how you know he feels strongly about this.
Very Cisco of him.
Yeah.
I think I'll sing it
I
again.
think I'll sing it again.
Got dumps like a truck.
How dumpy were those dumps on a truck?
I don't know. Ask Mrs. Matt.
What was that? You sounded like a dinosaur.
Well, Mrs. Matt, it's funny you should mention that because I've been seeing that big fat ass all over my Twitter timeline lately. She is going viral again, folks. And let me just say, I laid claim to Mrs. Matt before any of y'all saw that ass. That's my ass.
We have a lot of
Giggle.
we have a lot of weird things that are canon on this show.
Yeah.
But anytime we talk Mrs. Matt, a fake Jimbo Fisher
It's such a weird
chiming in, I'm not even really sure how that all happened.
I can't wait for my trip down to Miami to play the Hurricanes this year, and hopefully Mrs. Matt's going to be watching too.
Why would she be in Miami?
She'll be watching on TV, and I'll give her a little smooch in the camera.
Smooch.
What?
You know where to find me, ma'am.
What I was trying to get at was this was obvious while it was happening that this was. I guess where you could push back is the perception is, here's the theory, James Harden took less so they could sign guys like P.J. Tucker, someone else I forget.
Daniel House.
Yeah, Daniel House.
Anthony
I'm sorry.
Melton, you know.
Yeah, to improve the team and their chances of winning a title last year, and then they'd sweeten the pot for James when he came back up, and then that's where we can all perceive the deal went sideways. And the only notion against that is, what was James Harden's market value last year? Would he have found someone to give him the full max, or at least what he opted out of? What do you believe?
So there's a lot of things, right? So there's that. Then there's the league investigated them and docked them a couple of second-round picks.
Right, because the tampering only happened with P.J. Tucker and Daniel House.
Right.
It didn't happen at all with the contract that made it possible.
Right.
There's so many parallels to the Joe Smith fine.
The Joe Smith one will always go down in history because
Go Terps.
Because they had it in writing. And the reason they had it in writing was because they weren't sure, Joe and his agent weren't sure that Glenn Taylor would be alive long enough to honor the deal. This happened in 2000, I want to say 2001. It is now 2023. Glenn Taylor's still with us. But if you've seen Glenn Taylor, if you've seen a picture, Google it right now if you haven't. He looked like that in 2000.
Secret to aging.
The secret of aging is looking like you're on death's door for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how Abe Vigoda just had a career.
So there's that part of it.
Let me ask you this: How do they ping him for tampering on the contracts that James Harden made possible?
They didn't. They pinged them on illegal contact with PJ Tucker and Daniel House before.
Right, but illegal contact wouldn't be made if they didn't have this cap room that James Harden made possible. So how are they not looking deeper? This was obvious to everyone.
Yes.
Ruben divests himself, and then you'd figure that James Harden makes it up with Fanatics endorsements. We said this as it was happening.
Yeah.
And now that it's gotten ugly, everyone's circling back to say, hey, that was curious. And the league looked into this. Mm-hmm. And the Sixers, who have historically always been ringing the bell for other teams.
Yes.
They did this with Kyle Lowry.
Yes.
So that's where I'm coming from it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my
more
stance
clarity.
on it.
That's more clarity.
No,
there.
I'm chips on the table. Like they were upset because the Heat got Kyle Lowry and they didn't have a shot. And then they do the same thing with PJ Tucker, and they circumvent the salary cap to do so, and they didn't get hurt by it.
Well, I mean,
and then they have people carrying water on mainstream media while the superstar is doing the same exact thing that Damian Lillard's trying to do. So I'm curious, when does the league do something about this?
What are they supposed to do?
Do more.
Do
what they did with Damian Lillard. Do what they did with Damian Lillard.
But they didn't do anything with it. They put out a memo.
Okay, but they haven't done that with this.
But the memo said this doesn't just apply to Damian Lillard. It applies to every situation.
And immediately after that, what does James Harden do?
Okay, but that's not...
Message not received.
Yeah, but he didn't say, I want to play only for the Clippers.
He has been.
But he didn't say that.
His reps did.
He didn't say that out loud.
Damian Lillard didn't say it out loud. He played Will Smith in the background.
His rep...
But his rep said it, which you know what that means. But it comes from James Harden.
Where did his rep say it?
Well, Mike is saying that the rep said it.
Where?
It was via Woj report that he wants the Clippers.
Again, there's a difference between, according to sources, they're pushing for the Clippers and coming out on the record and saying, my client will only play for the Miami Heat.
When did they come out on the record and say that?
Man, it was
because it feels pretty similar. I'm not going to do the defensive thing. Like I just did that because I wanted to undercut what people are going to come at me with. What I'm saying is this was obvious as it was happening. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was obvious what was going to happen as soon as Ruben divested himself from owner, that they were going to circumvent the salary cap. Mm-hmm. And then when James Harden, what I want answered to me really is, what was the market for James Harden last year? Was he going to get the same kind of offer? Because Houston was out there as a team that would have given James Harden a supermax.
No, yeah. So here's the thing. He opted out of 40-plus mil. He may not have gotten 5 years max or 4 years max somewhere else or whatever. He also wasn't going to get 30 over 2 or 60 over 2, basically.
He's getting 33 this season.
Yeah, like 63 is what he signed or whatever that number was. Everyone recognized that was well below his market value. And not only that, to take a well below market value and also say, play a style of play that's not going to make you look dominant. Now, even though that's the funny thing, I said everybody's like, he had a great year.
Yeah, his season actually went better than you would expect considering his physique.
But the last time we saw him was a Game 7, I think, against the Celtics. He had 6 points.
No, but Amin's about to make a good
6
point.
points.
He had a really good season.
He led the league.
No, I know he did.
Hold
Mike.
on. He led the league in assists. 20 and 10, shot the second best three-point percentage of his career, and played a role that everyone said he could never play. Oh, he has to have the ball. He did it. And by the way, yes, he had a bad Game 7. Why were they in a Game 7 to begin with? That's like he
did Game 1 of that series. Like he had remarkable. He had a better stat line arguably than Curry had on a game clinching Game 7 on a series clinching.
But you're
Game
saying
7.
he got them to that Game 7? He had a big series to get them.
Yes,
because they were up in that series, right?
Yes. Now, did he have a bad Game 7? Absolutely. I'm not here to say like, oh, James Harden, it wasn't his fault or whatever. It's not his fault. Like, it's not his or Blake's fault. I was going to say Drake's fault because he had a concert yesterday.
Drake?
In LA. Yeah. I'm getting my my things confused. Yeah. But the point is, no, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault either. You were feeding me the line. It was so loud in my ear.
It wasn't my fault either.
I'm getting lost in the multiverse.
The reality is, this dude is a great player. Now, the problem is, and this goes back to Stugotz's question in the last segment, is the lie, hey, opt in, that'll make it easier for us to trade you. Because had he opted out, he could have gone into the market and maybe got the bag of money that Houston threw at Fred VanVleet.
Right.
The bags of money that got thrown all over the league. Maybe he could have been one of those people.
But I believe that's the lie he's talking about, where it was like, hey, sign this thing, opt in, and I will take care of you. I will trade you. And now he's saying I'm not going to trade you.
And it's no coincidence that his Daryl Morey's a liar speech comes within 48 hours of a report from the mainstream media that Daryl Morey shut down all talks. Don't even call me about James Harden.
So he's picking and choosing how much he values James Harden. He values him by like the contract he's not actually willing to give him.
Well, I mean, I think he's picking and choosing to what makes it more convenient for him. And maybe Daryl is trying to be, as he's known to be, coy in negotiation. And be like, well, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to trade him, and hoping the Clippers step up with something more substantive. But, like, the reality is, much like Miami and Portland, I was like, look, this is the deal, dude. It can't get that much better or that much bigger.
He makes for a bad martyr, but if anybody would make for a good martyr, it's Damian Lillard, and perceptions against him too.
See, but Dame, this is the thing. Dame won't do what Harden did.
Ever.
Well, he's running into opposition that James Harden isn't running into.
No.
Where there are other forces plotting.
No. This is the deal. So someone asked me, what do you think Harden's going to do? And I said, look, he's going to show up. He'll show up to camp. He'll show up to media day and all that stuff. He'll mail it in, though. And that's the difference between the NBA and the NFL. In the NFL, Saquon Barkley doesn't like his deal with it. Well, I'm not showing up. There's only 16 games. How about if we give you a little bit more money? I'm like, okay, that's better, and I'll show up. In the NBA, my money's guaranteed, baby. Okay, I don't like it. All right, cool. I'll show up.
Yeah, he did that in Houston.
Yeah, but mail it in for the preseason. Like what happened?
James is
mail it in for as long as you want.
The regular season as well.
James mails it in directly to his tummy.
You're right, Mike. You are right. But hold on.
Mailing in means I get delivery.
Well, I want to ask Dominique this, because once the season starts, you're a professional athlete. You're still making $33 million a year. You're on a team that's good enough. That team can contend. It's him and Joel Embiid. Like, doesn't just pride take over at that point and you start playing hard? No?
So sometimes we make this mistake of thinking that because we're all former athletes that we all think the same. I have no clue what is going through James Harden's mind.
He didn't ask you that. He didn't ask you that. He said, wouldn't you play hard if you were in the situation? It's not about you.
If you felt like you were lied to and you still had to show up to the team, go through training camp, and then the regular season kicks in.
Who cares what I would do? And I've never been in that position. And so that's the point that I was making is like, I don't know what it feels like to be so valuable to an organization that I can act like a complete asshole and they can't do anything about it. And like, I'm not judging him. I know it seems like I'm judging him by saying he's acting like a complete asshole. I don't mean that negatively, but I'm saying he is so good that he is free to do whatever he is that he wants to do.
I get away with it.
You got it. A minute too early. You gotta make a mess, Stugotz. You want out. You gotta make a mess.
Right.
You have to say, okay. Yes,
well,
you
he's
do.
making a mess, and he's still there.
And that's where I actually think that Damian Lillard is different in a lot of ways. But I don't see Damian Lillard being on the court and just doing what James Harden has already shown us he's capable of doing.
Right. And the reality is, without that, all they'll do is say, he's a professional. He's all right. He'll be fine. As soon as we start playing, as soon as we start winning, everything is going to be cool. But no, if you got somewhere that you want to be, it doesn't matter whether you're under contract or not. You want to get out, show up to work. Show up to work and do a terrible job of it.
How about show up to their work, like I did to WFAN?
The stigma.
If you want to be a Clipper, show up to their camp.
Yeah, just